but there is a movie in which a man was choked to death by another man's penis.
I'm sure there is Baggins. I don't know how this is required information.
I've seen it. That's all I'm saying.
Welcome to the Superior Stream episode for sure this time, episode 13. And if everything goes well, I should still have everything working. Are you there, Baggins?
Good morning, Vietnam! Ow! What's going on? This is Jeffro Baggins here to hit you with some real talk tonight on the Superior Stream.
Yes. It's so superior.
Pretty hyped.
Oh, so superior. But why don't you tell me about your day while I pull up a link or two, and then we'll have the first topic.
My day?
Yes, your day. What would you do today, apart from not show up when I need you to, barely scrape in at the last possible second?
I got grown up stuff going on, you know.
Grown up stuff.
Man.
Is that what they're calling jerking off nowadays?
Pretty much. I mean, it is adult content that I watch while I do that. Yeah,
yes, indeed, quite, indeed, indubitably.
You had to make it about baiting.
Yes.
It's like we are. Hold on, we are about maybe 35 seconds into the stream, and you start talking about masturbation.
Masturbation, dude. If that were a sport. I'm just saying, I'd have a few gold medals. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay, you might have a few gold medals, but I mean, what categories? You know, let's not talk about this. Let's not even talk about this anymore. I think I'm done with this conversation.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. See you next month.
Speaking of a firm grip on a joystick, what about this Pokken game you've been talking about? Talk to me about this Pokken while I pull up.
Pokken tournament.
Pokken. What the fuck? What the hell is a Pokken tournament? It sounds like something little kids would play.
Well, you know, it is about Pokemon, so technically it's maybe kind of sort of geared towards children, but there's also true fans like me.
A true fan
of the series who knows all about some Pokken.
Okay, let me go pull it up here. What do we got? When will Pokken tournament release in the Wii U? Let's see.
Like sometime next year.
Let's see if I can fit this in my screen here. Let's see. Shall I read it, or would you like me to read it for you? How would you like to go about this?
Well, I mean,
or was there just a snippet that I needed to read?
You're the one that had the Prima Games link.
All right, yeah, here we go. But anyway, for the uninitiated, when will Pokken tournament release on the Wii U? As if anybody cares. But no, I'm actually a bit interested. I'm just rustling some jimmies here at the behest of Mr. Baggins. Pokken tournament is an upcoming collaborative between Namco Bandai and the Pokemon Company. I didn't know I thought they were like a subsidiary of Nintendo. Anyways, the game has been
actually they still work closely with Nintendo, but they're so freaking successful that they could kind of become their own entity if they really felt like it. At any rate, continue.
Yes. The game has been rumored since the Pokemon Company filed a trademark for it in 2013, but it wasn't until August 2014, unveiling the game, that people really started talking about it. The biggest topic of discussion has been whether or not the game will grace the Wii U console. At the moment, Pokken Tournament is only confirmed for an arcade release, so maybe not. But anyways,
no. This must be an old article you're reading, because
this is the one that you had, or maybe it's an older one. I believe it's the one that you gave me. It's one that I received from you. But anyways,
not this one. No, all I gave you was YouTube stuff.
Okay, YouTube stuff. But anyways, let's see, 10 months and 3 weeks ago. This is no one.
I told you, it's almost you read from an almost 1 year old article. All right,
1 year old
Pokken Tournament is going to come out for the Wii U early next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been making the rounds of Japanese arcades, and in fact, I read earlier today that there's actually a handful of Dave and Buster locations that have a Pokemon tournament cabinet
Oh, really?
inside the premises. So there's a part of me that wants to see if the Dave and Buster's in Nashville has a Pokemon tournament cabinet because I would like to play that crap.
I was watching the
Yeah.
YouTube videos. They do have a Machamp, which I'm sure you're all
Oh yeah,
all excited about.
yeah. Machamp is a really solid little Pokemon. But Pokemon tournament is a fighting game.
Like
Like
Taken.
yeah, like Taken.
That's why it's
Uh,
called Pokken.
yeah, because it is actually made by the same development studio that creates the Tekken series. So Pokken is a play on words. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just combining the word Pokemon and Tekken.
Okay,
And
I
so
think I have a more fresher article. This is hot off the presses on November 14th. Is that fresh enough for you?
I guess
Well, it better be,
I like my talking points fresh.
dude.
Like I want steam to be rising off the bun.
All right, all right, all right.
I like steamy buns.
Yeah,
That's
you've
what I'm
you've
trying to
you've told me
say
about that before.
before I can chomp into them.
All right, Pokken Tournament getting Wii U bundle in Japan. So if it's getting a Wii U bundle in Japan, I think it's more or less confirmed we'll be getting it in the States.
You bundaru
Bundary.
Ippon.
Let's see. Yes, Pokemon Tournament is coming to the Wii U in spring of 2016, and it appears there will be a special Pokemon Tournament Wii U bundle in Japan. Also, apparently,
Cool,
this thing on the right side of the screen is going nuts here, I think.
Hmm.
Is there a way I can mute this page? Oh well.
Yeah.
Would you like to see a Pokemon Tournament bundle release in your region? Let us know in the comments. Well, let's see what Maniac Patel says. Yes, definitely that way. It'll totally help out boost the sales of the Wii U in the West area. Also, I'm not sure if English is his first language.
No, probably not.
Close that.
I think it's gotten to the point. Like, let's talk about Daniel.
Oh,
He's
geez.
a great guy. I love him to death.
Yes.
I get to the point where I don't even want to hear it anymore. Like he's always talking about, oh man, one day I'm gonna get a Wii U, man. Like just stop it. I'm sick of hearing about it because he's not. He will never get one, and it's at the point where if you haven't gotten one yet, you're just not going to. I mean, there might be a few people that are all excited for this game, and I'm excited for it.
What is Daniel's line in the sand? What is his game like? Okay,
he will only buy a Wii U if he can get it 99% off, and then he has to maybe feel pretty confident about it before he can make the purchase.
Oh, I see. So
you could give him one for free, and he would worry about the gas money to drive out to get the free Wii U. He'd probably say no. Anyways, that's besides the point. I don't really know where I had somewhere I was going with that, but you kept derailing me.
Yes, I cut you off.
I've lost all steam.
Well, no. Well, I'm actually in the same boat as Daniel. Much to your what's the word? I won't say behest.
Chagrin.
Well, chagrin. That is. I love you. There's not too many times where you please me, but that's exactly the word.
Thanks, I guess.
Yes, that chagrin. Chagrin your dick off.
I'll chagrin so hard all over your face. No.
But I'm in the same boat as Mr. Daniel.
That's fine.
Yeah. Like I said, not to say the Wii U for what it does. I think it works well. If you explicitly just want to play games.
Yeah. Well, it is a game machine.
It is a game machine. It is a gamer's machine. But much the same way the Dreamcast, which is a topic, we'll talk about the Dreamcast, I think, maybe next time. It's almost exclusively a game machine. Like, if it wasn't for Netflix, and what else? All right, you own a Wii U. Tell me, what does it do? Like, what do you use it for other than games?
Well, I do play a crap ton of games on it, which is the whole reason I got it. So let's just say that real quick. It does exactly what I want it to do.
Right.
But it also, it does Netflix, it does the Amazon Prime and YouTube and all that crap. But I mean, everything does that. So whatever, man. I've got a computer.
Right.
So if I want to do any non-gaming stuff, then I've got a machine that is better at it than anything else you can get right now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have no reason to get an Xbox One or a PS4 because most of the games that I want to play that would come out on those systems, I can also get on the PC.
Right.
Plus, I can do all of the stuff that a computer can do. So I have literally zero interest in getting one of those machines. I don't think they're bad machines. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to trash talk. I'm just saying, for me as an individual consumer,
Yes.
there is no reason for me to purchase one of those. However, the Wii U was a valid purchase for me because there's lots of games that only exist on that system that I personally really enjoy. I like Nintendo's style as a developer. I like the kind of games they make. They're light on story and they're designed just to be nothing but fun, and that's all you get out of it. That's all I want out of it. It's refreshing just to play something that's fun for fun's sake. And that's what almost all of their games are like. Um, and also the gamepad. I think I talked about this last month, maybe, but the gamepad is, in my opinion, I was really cautious about it at first. I didn't think I would. I didn't think it was worth it. It was this big bulky thing.
Yes, it looks
But
like it looks like a little iPad kind of deal with a little joystick and such.
Well, let me tell you, that thing is actually fairly ergonomic. I think it is a pretty comfortable controller. They did a good job with it, but also, aside from ergonomics, I think it is one of the greatest innovations in gaming hardware history.
My goodness, for real?
No, I'm being for real, man. Okay.
You're not being facetious. You're not being
No,
facetious.
I mean I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve here. Hear me out. Okay, maybe I'm overhyping it, but that's just how I feel. This is all this thing is an opinion piece. So I mean, you take it with a grain of salt.
Alrighty. Salty,
But
all right.
let's talk about some exploits that I've had on the gamepad. One that you were there for, my
Yes.
bachelor party. We
Oh,
were all
yes.
hanging out, Met Cabin, and we were gonna play some Smash Brothers. Great game, by the way, of course. We were gonna play some Smash Brothers, and I forgot my no. I brought my HDMI cables to hook into the TV and all that, but the television in the cabin was a tube TV and was incompatible with
Yes.
HDMI cables, and I didn't have the red, white, yellow cables, so we were crap out of luck. But like, wait a minute, I have a gamepad, and so using a Pro controller each, we were able to huddle around this gamepad and face each other, and that was, it was goofy and it was this tiny screen, but man, it was fun.
I will say that is less of a tribute to the Wii U and more of a failing of that of that hotel.
Well, but I
That
mean, if I
cabin.
brought any other game system, then we would just be screwed unless
Yes.
someone like this big monitor with them.
I hear you.
Case in point, one time me and Lena, my wife, went camping, and it started to rain outside, and it was at night, so we couldn't start a fire, we couldn't do anything. But I did bring the Wii U with me. Don't ask me why. I just did. It's very portable. I take it around with me in this little backpack. And we ran out an extension cord to this power supply into our tent, and turned on the gamepad. They were inside of our tent, no monitor or anything, and we played co-op Guacamelee together.
Because when I think nature outing, I think Wii U.
Well, okay, it's like we didn't have anything we could do.
Oh man,
because it was raining at night.
We've done driven so far off the road.
I know. We'll get back. We'll get back.
Oh my goodness.
And then the other thing that I love about it is that, me and Lena could be sitting on the couch, and maybe she's watching a movie, and I want to play my games, but I still want to be next to her. I can get on that gamepad and just be like a little completely absorbed in my little experience, and I can even plug headphones into it. It's amazing. It doesn't have to be on your TV. That the gamepad is sheer versatility. It's 10 pounds of versatility in a 2-pound bag. It's just bursting with application. That's why I like it. And it's ergonomic to boot. So sorry to talk so much about the gamepad, but
it's okay. Like so, that's you carry it around in a backpack like a child.
So, get out of here, man.
I just can see you like in like a little baby carrier, but instead of a child, you have the Wii in there.
Okay, we're about to go on vacation, and it's like I could bring the PS3, I could bring my computer, but I'm not going to bring either of those things because they're not very travel friendly. But the Wii U is so small; it's like a cute little lunchbox size thing, and you
dude, it's your baby, dude.
It is. I can take it anywhere, and how is that not a plus?
I'm not saying it's not a plus. I'm just amused. Bemused.
Okay.
Whichever one you want to use.
At any rate, since I have a computer, there's no better machine for me as a secondary pure gaming machine than a Wii U, and that's why I think any real gamer should at least consider it instead of just writing it off.
I see.
Um, but anyways, let's talk about Pokemon tournaments some more.
Okay. Well, no,
Because we weren't really done.
I watched the video. It looks real fun. It looks.
Oh, did you actually put it on the stream?
I didn't put the video on there. I'll put up a Pokemans though, just to appease the Baggins.
Well, hold on.
What is it?
Well,
or
all right.
So if you have a link, you send me the link. I'll consider your
link. why do you have to make it dirty?
Oh,
I'm so unnerved right now.
Here is the what's that Mexican wrestler word that you're so keen on?
Luchador.
Luchador, yeah. So this is one of the Pokemans in Pokemon in the Pokemans. Okay, and we'll broadcast a brief video.
Lucha. But I want to talk about something before we got into that. But keep Halucha up there. It's a nice little image to look at. Basically, he's a humanoid. For those who are not watching, he is a humanoid bird-human looking hybrid thing that looks like he's in kind of a Rey Mysterio outfit. He looks like a luchador Pokemon.
Yes.
Right? So I hope he's a character in Pokemon Tournament. But anyways, so it's a fighting game. And I think it's great to see the series actually branch out and try something new that isn't just a half-hearted mobile quality game. I've watched gameplay footage of it. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's really pretty looking too. A lot of Pokemon spin-off titles are not very graphically impressive at all.
Okay.
But I hope the roster's nice. But here's what I have a problem with though.
What?
Is freaking 2 versions of Pikachu.
I think I have those pictures.
I am done with Pikachu. In fact, I just Skyped you a link to one of the versions of Pikachu gameplay video. You just silently play it.
Yeah, give me a second.
All right. Is it hard to do?
It'll queue up in a second. Don't worry.
Okay.
But go ahead and continue, and I'll let you know once we got it going.
I just any actual fan of the series, like I understand Pikachu is recognizable. But Pokemon Tournament is a niche title. It's a game that really only Pokemon fans are going to want to play, in my opinion.
And so they're taking the flagship Pokemon because they feel they have to put it in like the front
But he's already in there.
Exactly.
And actual fans of the series are sick to death of Pikachu. It's like, hey, you want more Pikachu? Here's another more Pikachu. It's like, no, I'm done. And now there's 2 versions of Pikachu, one of which is a Luchador Pikachu. All right? He is in the Mexican masked wrestler outfit. And he does wrestling moves. And that is disgusting to me. Because there is a luchador Pokemon. It has lucha in its name. The Pokemon's name is Halucha. And they're wasting a Halucha slot on a luchador Pikachu. And that just pisses me off.
We'll stream it here in just a second. Put the volume down to minimalistic. I'll mute myself here. So
no. Just you can just have it playing in the background quiet while we talk. I mean, you just mute the video.
All right. Well, sometimes like my audio will like blast through my headphones, but we'll see.
Oh really?
Okay, so it's a Pikachu in a luchador outfit.
Yeah, when there is already a dedicated
masked Pikachu.
Pokemon. Yeah, look at that. I mean. It's cute because it is Pikachu in a masked wrestler outfit. I get it, it's fun, but I'm still pissed off about it because there is a much more deserving luchador Pokemon that could make the roster more interesting. See, and the roster's got a lot of odd choices. When I heard Pokemon Tournament, I'm thinking, oh man, they're gonna have like every fighting type in there,
right.
But they're putting like weird stuff in there, like Suicune, that water dog, and some other stuff like Gengar is an odd choice. He works though, but they just have, in what is, in my opinion, some odd roster choices. And instead of really going for the obvious choices, like if they don't have at least Hitmonlee in there, I will be genuinely disgruntled.
All right.
And, it might take it from a day 1 buy to maybe like a month later buy, just because of my lack of enthusiasm. If they don't,
you say that, but one thing I'm not sure if you've considered. I'm not sure how big it is on the Wii U, but what about DLC? Could they DLC every single Pokemon?
Oh, absolutely. Have you been? Well, okay, not every. That's 720 characters.
Well, I mean everyone you would want in the game.
For sure they could, but I doubt they will.
Yes.
But have you been following Smash Brothers lately?
I have not. Fill me in, Mr. Aficionado.
Smash Brothers has been going insane with DLC characters.
Right.
And they're actually like cool DLC characters too. You've got Ryu from Street Fighter.
Right.
They've got Most recently, they just announced Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII will be a playable character.
I noticed
Uh,
that one as well. Yes.
yeah, so I mean, so you have been following it. I mean, they've got a lot of DLC for that game.
Right.
Um, and they had killer DLC for Mario Kart 8. Nintendo's really been stepping their game up with the DLC. So I don't see any reason why a big name title like Pokken Tournament could not have downloadable characters later. Hopefully they don't go the route of releasing it, even though maybe they could have released the game with Sand Slash and Hitmonlee on it, but they wanted to wait 2 months later to sell you the characters. I hope
Well,
they don't do that, but they might.
I don't want to say this, but I think in our culture of DLC, it's become expected. Like, no one expects to buy what we would assume is a full game anymore. You're like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to buy the game, and about 2 or 3 months down the line, there's going to be some DLC I can buy for it.
Well,
That's more or less become accepted.
There is an ancient image macro. Well, ancient in internet terms. I think it was made in like 2007.
Right.
And it is a picture of a PC gaming. It said it was PC gaming in the late 90s, and it showed a picture of the Mona Lisa. It said finished game.
Right. I'll
And then
pull it up in a second.
Oh, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's so true because this is for the listeners. I mean, the people that are watching will actually be able to see this, but you've got the Mona Lisa. It's a work of art. It's a finished game, and then it has DLC for like cheap, and they're like little tiny Rembrandt paintings, so they're still like wholly unique works of their own, right? Well, then and then it cut to 10 years later, and like
right. All right, for 1999, you get Mona Lisa and 2 expansion packs. Right, in 2005, you get the original game, and then kind of like an extra of the original game.
Yeah, it's like you get smaller versions of just more of the same. And now, present day, you don't even get the whole Mona Lisa anymore. It's like sections of the Mona Lisa have been cut out, and you have to pay $15 each to fill in the painting, to where eventually all you get is the complete game, which is disgusting. But people pay money for it, and corporations do what works. And that's really the fault. I want to say it's the fault of the consumer, but at the same time, we don't have much of a choice than what they give us. So it's like it's a double-edged sword. It's kind of both our faults.
But like, so that's what I'm seeing the future being for Pokken, probably more than likely. Because how many? There's like 8 or 9 Pokemon right now for the roster, right?
Yeah, and they'll add more. Like they just recently added Dark Mewtwo, which is interesting that they're adding more stuff to an arcade game. I don't know if the arcade gets the updates. They probably do.
I would assume so. You could just, the way things are now, they could just have a little separate console, just download updates.
Yeah.
There's a method to the madness, I'm sure.
I'm sure there is. So yeah, that's Pokken Tournament. I'm excited for it. I really hope they have Hitmonlee. I'd also like Scyther and Sandslash, but that's not fun to people listening if they don't know Pokemon.
Baggins.
So we can talk about something else.
How much would you pay for Hitmonlee? Like Hitmonlee DLC $29.99?
No.
But with Hitmonlee though, you love that Hitmonlee.
I wouldn't be able to do more than $5 per character.
$5. So if Hitmonlee were only $10.99, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Maybe if it. God, I've wanted to play Hitmonlee. Like I wanted not. Hitmonlee's my favorite Pokemon. I hate to keep talking about Pokemon. We can move on, but. I've wanted to actually take control of a Hitmonlee in real time since like the original Smash Brothers. Like he's my favorite Pokemon, okay? And I remember in the Nintendo 64 Smash Brothers. Sorry, my nose is stuffy. I apologize if my voice sounds weird.
It's okay. You sound perfect.
I got allergies are going. Thank you. Anyways, you throw him out of that Pokeball and he'd like kick people, right?
Right.
Well, I've wanted him to be in a non-turn-based game for, I guess, over a decade. And if they put him in there, I could die happy.
So $10.99, yes or no?
No. They won't do it. They won't. But maybe if it was like a 2-pack for $10.99, sure,
yeah.
I'd do it then.
Of course.
Hitmonlee and some other monster you don't give an F about. Some weeaboo pleasing like Zangoose or something. Anyways, let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, we've been burning.
I'm excited about that, but we talked about it for a long time.
Well, no, it's an interesting topic. I could probably talk about that a bit more, but we can't. We don't want to bore people with Pokemon, little kids game. Jeez.
Well, I like kids games. I'm sorry,
Let's
jeez.
talk about an adult. It's for cool kids.
Oh,
It's happening.
it still said kids.
Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh,
Okay. And
all right.
I've not played it all. Have you touched it?
Well, I mean, I've played 1 and 2 extensively, and I loved them.
Well, you and me both. Have you played the new Battlefront? That's what we're worried
No, I haven't. But you know, did you here pull up the?
I have the notes. Okay, so
silently play that YouTube video in the background. I think if you watch it, you'll kind of see what I'm saying. I have something I'd like to say about it.
Oh, really now?
So go ahead, just go ahead and start that up, and I'll start talking if you don't mind.
So you talk in YouTube clips. All right, I got you.
Well, if anybody's watching the stream, then they need something to keep them entertained.
Okay. Well, anyway, where's this link at? Is this? You gotta send me a link, bro.
It's in the show notes, but hold on. God bless it.
Oh, no, I see it. I know, I see it.
You see it?
Yes.
Yeah, you can just.
I believe this is the right one.
Yeah, it's got it silently play in the background while we discuss this point.
45 minutes of gameplay.
Like, yeah, it can just in the background, man.
Well, just to clarify, Parallax Lives, thanks for the video footage. We're
using it. Thank you very much.
Sure. It's totally hit. We did not record this or play any of this. It's all him published on this date. Here we go. So let's start the magic. Okay. Let's hear your bones to pick, Mr. Baggins.
All right, the game. It looks pretty cool. I might get it one day. However, when I see footage of the game in action, I can't help but call the game Star Wars Battlefield instead of Front. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't actually have the video up. Let me actually get it up.
Okay.
How?
I'm watching the game in action, and it looks like the original Star Wars. Let me just When I see the game in action, it really drives the point home of how soulless EA is. I absolutely hate that LucasArts is no longer a thing. They were a beautiful development studio with a unique legacy and a great lineup of games. I mean, you could probably name at least 2 games from LucasArts off the top of your head that you really enjoyed. The first 2 Battlefront games felt like nothing else on the market. They had a style and feel that was completely unique, from the pacing of the action to the way the characters handled when you were controlling them. There was nothing like it. I think you could agree with me. You've played them. There's no game that feels quite like the first 2 Battlefronts. The game just looked... Well, this new game looks like the Battlefield series with a Star Wars skin on it, which is fun, but it also makes me mad because it lost its soul. That's what made it unique. But it looks like Battlefield with a Star Wars skin and a few sci-fi bells and whistles tacked on. To me, that is just a horrible, horrible thing. Screw EA. Screw them, all the screws. But I'm probably still going to get it because, heck, it's Star Wars.
Oh. Right.
And this is the kind of person I am. But it's a full price purchase? Nah. Right. I'm not a huge fan of first-person shooters. And, the old Battlefront games were more like third-person shooters. But when I watch this new one, it looks like a more... just first-person stuff, and I just that it's not the same series anymore at that point.
Well, one little key point here: if you're gonna want to get Battlefront for PC, you're gonna have to get Origin, which so this is an EA game, and EA doesn't have their games on Steam.
Oh man, see, screw EA, dude. I'm not getting it. I don't want to download. I hate being hassled. Like, if you want to play this game, you got to download a membership to this software. You better make sure you have a subscription to our proprietary service. You need like 17 of them because you got games from 17 different companies. You got to download something for each of them. That's what I say to that. I'm done with it. No, I ain't doing it. Bad EA.
You sound like you're a bit perturbed. You sound as though
I'm a little bit mad.
You sound a little bit salty there, Baggins.
Dude, I am like a saltine cracker. Like I am the seasoning packets in ramen noodles.
Damn.
I mean, I feel like I'm gonna have a stroke because of all this sodium coursing through my proverbial veins right now. So
for me, the Origin thing is enough for me to just discount it entirely.
Yeah.
In and of itself. But that's not even like my biggest bone to pick.
I ain't buying a PS4 just for one game.
Yeah.
Okay, but what do you think about Star Wars Battlefront? I kind of talked about it. Yeah. What do you want to say?
I was about to get into it, Baggins. Well, like I said, I don't know too much about it. I've seen it played extensively. From what I've heard, the biggest issues are there's no maps for it, and supposedly there's going to be more maps down the pipeline in the form of DLC. before the game's even released, they've already have the DLC lined up. So you know preemptively
What?
you're screwed. And like
Are you gonna
as
have to
you
pay for it? Are you gonna have to pay for it?
as I understand, yes. Exactly. So you get like the very basic map pack, and then there's
So your Mona Lisa is missing like a chunk of its face, and you have to pay to complete the painting.
oh, but of course the devs have to make money.
Oh, like they're gonna make so much money on this thing.
Exactly.
But you know,
yeah.
let me tell you, I hate to bring it back to Nintendo. I do apologize for talking about Nintendo so much. I like the company, but we're still talking about Battlefront here. But let me tell you, that approach can be done correctly. Uh, you know that little game Splatoon.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Splatoon. It's a lot of fun. It's just fun. But then when the game first came out, it was really lacking in content. I think it only had like 5 maps.
Right.
It had maybe like a dozen weapons. There wasn't a whole lot of variety. It was basically selling itself on the strength of its gameplay alone, which is fine. It kind of seems like what Battlefront's doing. But here's the thing: there was some on disc content I think that was locked in Splatoon, which is crappy. But they released it later. I think they just wanted to do some testing beforehand before they made it available to everyone. And ever since, there's been a steady stream of new stages, new outfits and equipment, and new weapons, you know, contests and new game modes. There's been literally just a steady stream of this DLC that's been coming out, and it's all free updates though. See, EA is taking it the other way. They're doing basically the same thing, except their steady stream of updates that they could have already released with are not free. And I hate that corporate mindset where you just all got to drive profits, drive profits.
Right. And like you mentioned, now like I said, the reason I don't want to get involved with Origin, so I kind of strayed away from there. But even ignoring Origin, say it was just out on Steam.
Okay.
I'm not that interested in it just from a gameplay standpoint. You know, I
Been there,
actually
done
like
that?
Battlefield. You know, I'm a guy who enjoys some of the mechanics of Battlefield.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You got me to download part 2.
I don't like what I'm seeing. You know, like I said, I've seen it before. I'm looking at Mr. thing here, Mr. Parallax Live. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Well, not to say it's as a game, yes, it is functional. You know, as a Star Wars experience, I'm sure it's quite good. As someone who's played games extensively, I'm not sure if I could rationalize $59 and how
for more Battlefront with Star Wars on it.
Essentially.
Or Battlefield, I mean, more Battlefield with Star Wars in it.
Right. And
I mean,
that, like I said, that's just for the bare bones of the game you get. That's not counting all the DLC you have to purchase.
And you can play as like hero units like Han Solo and Darth Vader and all that.
But and then again, this is all like never minding the fact that this is you have to go to Origin to play it. So I have very little. There's very little drawing me to this new Battlefront.
Agreed. Which I hate to say that. It's just I guess I kind of hate mainstream gaming, dude. It's been kind of ruined. Maybe I'm just a gaming hipster, but I don't know.
Close dating up. I think we have a good enough idea of what the game looks like. But, yeah, it looks like if you're listening, it looks like Battlefield except Star Wars.
Which is terrible. That's like Lucas Arts, man. I wish they were still around. They could make some unique games, man.
All right, but I don't have too much to talk about in regards to my recent video game forays. I would say
WildStar.
Yeah, WildStar. All right, if you're not familiar with WildStar, it went free to play not too long ago, and I was interested in it before it was even released. Like artistically, it reminded me a lot of World of Warcraft, but I didn't buy it because I was like, this game's probably going to go to free to play in a year or so, and it did.
Sure did.
And like I said, I jumped in, and it looks lovely, artistic wise, gameplay wise.
All right.
I don't really feel like it's doing too much for me. Like I see what it's trying to do, and it needs to be better than WoW and everything else on the market.
Well, let me tell you, from a listener's perspective, like I've never played WildStar. I don't even know really anything about it. So like if this is kind of like an MMO corner, real quick, would you say yay or nay? Give it a go, give it a no?
I would say no.
Okay. Uh,
like I said, I was trying to be optimistic. Like I tried to like it. Like, okay, is this cool? And like I ran it past my little bar of coolness, and it didn't register. You know, I was.
so you heard it, folks. You heard it from the man himself. Lord Mayo said, pass on WildStar if it does not get the seal of approval.
And like I said, it's not necessarily even a bad game. I'm sure if you paid
Well,
for it, you'll have that bias. Well, I paid for it. It's definitely a good game.
yeah, but there is definitely
So
buyer's bias,
maybe
which I might
because
have.
I got it for free, I can throw it away like a used tissue
Yeah.
a bit easier. But at the
Like
same
an
time,
ex-girlfriend.
but if your game can't grab someone and pull them in and make them want to play to fruition, then it's
Well, that's the thing. I think a good video game needs to establish itself on the strengths of its basic gameplay concepts very quickly if it wants to keep you.
yeah.
And that would just be good game design, you know.
Yeah. But,
All right, let's talk about another MMO. Terra.
Terra. Oh,
Yeah, I saw
played
you
this.
play it. I saw you play it. Well, I never really played it. My old computer could not handle it.
Oh yeah, poor comp can.
But I saw you play it, and I was keenly interested in it. I'm thinking about getting into it. As a side note, if you'd like to play that with me at some point,
Okay,
maybe we could try it together. But your brief experience with the game, give us a rundown. It's kind of like Monster Hunter,
Dude,
but
I've not touched that game in a dog's age. But
okay,
to confirm with you, from when I last played back in 2012,
probably
13 or
like
so,
2014, 2013.
Yeah. It was more action oriented than conventional MMOs, but it was no Dragon Hunter or Monster Hunter. Monster
Well, it's
Hunter
kind of like
or
Monster
Dragon's
Hunter
Dogma.
Lite with a huge multiplayer component.
Yes, like I said, it's one of those deals where you just have to play it to kind of you have to get your feet wet. It's definitely like if you played WoW or traditional MMOs, it'll feel a lot more action oriented. But you'll draw the line versus Monster Hunter when you play Monster Hunter versus Terra. Like you'll notice.
Yeah.
For instance, WildStar actually has kind of action oriented combat. They use kind of a few cooldown kind of ability kind of deals. But it's definitely not as action oriented as Terra. So I guess in the pantheon of action oriented combat, you have like WoW, which is next to nothing, then WildStar, then Terra, and then I guess everything past that is like Phantasy Star Online territory.
Okay, so like if you're looking for for an MMO that it's got it's pretty graphics. It's a pretty game. I remember it being very attractive.
Yes.
But if you're looking for an MMO that's Twitch based, combat heavy, with the depth of a game like kind of like a fusion of World of Warcraft and Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem I had with Monster Hunter is that it didn't have a world to explore. You just had these closed-in stages. Right. So if you wanted fast-paced Monster Hunter style combat with a big world to explore, Terra is a yes. It's a yes out of 10.
I would say give it a try. It is free to play, so there's like nothing to lose. Unless you have like dial up, then it's gonna lose like 3 or 4 years downloading that bastard. It's like 20 gigs. But if you have the time and the internet to invest, definitely give it a try.
I'm gonna give it a try. Let's all play Terra, guys. Let's see if it's any fun.
Yeah, but they have lollies in there, dude. You'd be pedophile, dude. So.
Dude, man, maybe I am. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, FBI. We got Chris Hansen.
I'm trying to be a funny guy.
Why don't you have a seat over there, Mr. Baggins?
Well, I knew my day would come.
Dude, you playing those video games, man?
Neither of us are.
12, too old.
Well, it's really it's a 1,000-year-old ancient elf in a body that just kind of looks like 12-year-old. It's totally not perverted at all. Really, she's the perverted one because I'm like 1,000 years younger than she is.
Enough of these shenanigans. Let's get into a game we both are fairly well versed in. I would say myself more so than you.
Delve back into tanks.
But only because I have the autism. World of Tanks, published by Wargaming. if you're not familiar with World of Tanks, probably lived under a rock. They have too many commercials on the History
Ain't
Channel.
exactly a household name, but okay.
Well, did you see all the commercials they had on the History Channel? Like
History Channel is heavy on the World of Tanks.
Exactly. I was like,
but I mean, that game has a really unique demographic. Like I remember when I was briefly on a clan with you, we'd be in the clan chat, and like it seemed like a good third of the player base on there was like grizzled veterans that like are really into like military history. Is like.
Well, that's kind of cool. Like you get an audience that is not necessarily like home to tanks. And I talked to a guy who was literally on like the Berlin Wall during the 1980s. Like how often do you get to meet somebody like that?
There's a lot of people in the game that are like that, and I think it's kind of cool. It's a refreshing change of pace from the usual racist 15-year-olds that you play with online. And you know, a smart move on Wargaming's part by being so heavy on the advertisements on the freaking History Channel, because AKA the World War II channel.
Yeah.
So you know, that's a smart move. They attracted the people they wanted.
Okay. But I dove back in. But no, what's the point? Why did I leave tanks to begin with? Well, mostly because I was playing Final Fantasy 14, and I'd grown tired of tanks. I'd played a lot of tanks. You will.
Well, you played it like thousands of hours. I would get burned out too.
Yes, 24K battles. I'm not sure like the math on that, but just the countdown time alone, 30 seconds before each battle times
15 minutes max battle duration.
Right.
So let's say you survived 5 minutes each battle on average. I know you survived longer than that, but that's just low end ballparking it. So what is 5 minutes times 24,000?
24,000. That's a lot of time in that game.
It's a lot of minutes. That's. Hold on, I'm gonna get out my calculator because I don't feel like doing this in my head.
Times.
Let's see how many hours of tank battles. 24,000.
125,000 minutes.
By 5. I mean, times 5. I mean,
right.
24,000 times 5 equals 120,000 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, divided by 60, because you know 60 minutes in an hour. That is 2,000 hours of battles.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of dang hours.
That's assuming that I only lasted 5 minutes per
Exactly. Sometimes a lot of times you would survive the battle, so you went for the full 15-minute duration.
Yeah.
Not only that. But that's not counting time spent researching your modules, repairing damaged parts, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And just talking with people. So yeah, I commend you for sticking with it for that long. I don't know if I could play anything for that long.
Right. Well, like I said, I got into the pro circuit for a little bit. I was doing.
Yeah, I remember when you lived with me.
Yes.
I remember, you know, those 7 months that you lived with me.
Oh yeah.
Is you having basically like a phone conference with this mouth breather about joining his tank clan. And you sounded so prim and proper and professional trying to join this tank. He's like, you were making like basically a freaking PowerPoint presentation for this guy about your strengths as basically an employee. And me and Lena both thought the same thing. It's like, why did he do this for a job? He would be employed today.
I know, right? That's what I tried to do, man.
You did not,
dude.
You had fun, and you were just there to have fun.
Well, a lot of people do.
Don't even deny it.
Well, I'm not denying I didn't have fun. I'm just saying, like, I wish I could have done better, and I'm not saying I did bad. Like I said, I did win a prize tank. My coveted.
You're talking about tanks in that life. Okay.
Oh yeah, my coveted M60.
So you want a prize M60?
Yes, that's probably like my crowning achievement for tanks.
Was that a tier 10?
Yeah, tier 10 prize tank. It's not even that good, but in terms of like, it's the thing like you wave your dick around. Like you get a DeLorean. It sucks and it's stupid. Nobody likes them, but everybody wants a fucking DeLorean. Dude, you want that DeLorean?
First off,
just say I have it.
Shut your mouth saying that DeLoreans suck and are stupid.
Dude, they're so goofy looking though, dude. That's like the AMX. That is the AMX 40 of cars, dude.
Dude, don't talk trash about the AMX 40 either. The rubber ducky of doom is like a force to be reckoned with. If it's top tier, you're done, son. You're done. Don't even try. Just go home.
Yeah.
But so anyways, we've learned that you are daftly un-American by even denying the power of the DeLorean. I mean, I remember when I was little, I'd watch Back to the Future.
Oh, really?
And I thought that car was the bee's knees, man. The doors opened up from the top, and it had like those cool slats on the back, like the rigid. What's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Doors.
segmented armor plates on the back window. I don't know. Dang it, you know what I'm talking about, Bill.
Fins.
Fins. All those
Little
layered
baby
fins.
fins.
Those
Yes.
black layered fins. They were cool looking. I wanted that car. If I could get one today, I would.
Dude, that's it.
I
It's
would rate it a DeLorean out of 10. That's
lovely.
that's how legendary the DeLorean is
Okay.
to me. But hey,
But
you know,
anyways, for the uninitiated, M60, cool tank, but in battle it didn't really perform that well. But in terms of being wave your dick around and like show it off to people, it made a lot of people salty. Like there was enough salt generated by that tank. I'm
for those who don't know, oh, go ahead, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say that definitely caused like a good 1,000 people to just outright quit the game and not play again.
I'm sure you're right. You know, one thing that I enjoyed
Yes.
in World of Tanks, and I actually did this recently,
Oh really?
was I'll hop in my M3 Stuart, and it's a tier 3 light tank. You know the M3 Stuart, you know it well.
Yes.
Um, for some reason, it's just my favorite tank. I don't know why. I've played everything from tier 1 to tier 10, and that little tier 3 light is my favorite thing in the game. So, but anyways, I like to hop in that thing, and
Right.
every once in a while I'll get really lucky and I'll wreck like a tier 5
Right.
in this little dinky little thing because of just sometimes sheer luck, sometimes positioning, sometimes it gets distracted. One time I got, I killed a
I'm trying
Sherman.
to draw this out for our viewers as we watch. I don't remember how the
Okay.
M3 was it called?
M3 Stewart.
M3 Stuart looks. I'm just trying to draw a small tank
Okay, okay.
versus something
If
else.
you've ever seen the movie Tank Girl, terrible movie, but if you've seen the movie Tank Girl, the tank that she drives in is an M3 Stewart. Uh, it was also used in the comic book series. I think it's called Ghost Tank or something like that. It was an M3 Stewart for a while.
Right.
Nelson, that is like just a generic as generic could be tank. Like
Well,
that does literally.
dude, I'm
Why
drawing it
don't you
on the
find if you're
I'm
gonna?
drawing it on the fly. Calm your autism down just a few notches.
All I'm saying is that if you want to show somebody what an M3 Stewart looks like, you could just find a picture of an M3 Stewart instead
Well,
of drawing this
well,
on his tank.
I'm trying to draw your adventures here, Boogans, big
All right.
Boggins.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So yeah, but just like last week, I had a match where I killed an M4 Sherman and
Which I just happen to be drawing.
the German equivalent. What's that tank called? The Panzer
Panzer IV.
Panzer IV. I killed an M4 Sherman and a Panzer IV, one right after the other, in my little dinky M3 Stuart.
Right.
And people get pretty mad when you do that. They do because it's not something that should be able to happen. But if you play your cards right, I mean, you can do some damage. Um, but I've always liked playing as the underdog in video games.
Right.
Like there was this Crimson Skies. Do you remember Crimson Skies for the Xbox?
Right.
It was a very fun airplane game, and you had all these beastly airplanes. You had basically things that were like glorified jet fighters to like things that were the size of bombers that could shoot lightning out of their propellers and blah, blah, blah. There's these god planes, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I liked to play on the multiplayer was the auto gyro.
Right.
It was literally a trash can sized metal cage that had no armor with a helicopter blades attached to the front and top and back, and it was basically man sized. It was a man sized roll cage with helicopter blades on it and a little
Right.
dinky machine gun. But I would win in that thing, dude. And it was fun. It's like you could hide in a canyon and someone could chase you and you could just like take shelter and poke at them with your little machine gun until they're dead. And there was nothing they could do about it because that was they weren't used. Everyone wants to just go for the biggest, baddest thing. They didn't know how to fight this little thing that no one ever used.
Right. So
That's
basically,
why,
you drive around your M3 Stuart and just peck at stuff from its rear armor, which
yeah.
happened to be the weakest, and
Uh-huh.
they could do little to rebuttal.
Exactly, because if they went after me, then they'd get waylaid by my teammates who are more stronger than I am.
Yes.
So I mean, it was that's
Yeah.
a nice 3D
But
perspective you got going on there,
yeah, I
Nelson.
know, right? Anyways, I'll close it out. But
I like what you did there.
I know. I am an artist. I'm not as good as JMD, as you know
Are
who
you
I'm talking
an
about.
aspiring mangaka?
No, I taught you a few things or two, if I recall. If I recall.
Hey, I'm a hard person to teach art, dude. I have like no talent
Sweet.
for
Well,
art.
since my representation was a little lacking, since I just drew it on the fly. Let's see if I
Oh, that's
can.
pretty good.
Yeah, I was doing more for size comparison for the M4 Sherman we had there. But see if we can
Mm.
get a proper M3 Stewart here on screen. Just a second.
So, do you how do you feel about, since we're just talking bull crap in here? Do you like to play as underdogs in video games, or do you just like to min max and go for whatever wins the most rounds statistically?
Oh. It's referring just tanks in general or video
Just
games?
video games in general.
Well, in
I
video.
almost exclusively play as underpowered things because I enjoy the challenge.
Okay, well, there's an M3 Stewart real quick if I want to take a look at it. It's not the biggest tank.
It's a
No.
pretty generic looking little tank.
It's about the size of a SUV, maybe, I'd say.
Mm.
Thereabouts.
It's what Tank Girl drives. So if you remember Tank Girl,
Yeah.
you know what an M3 Stewart is.
Anyway, so yeah.
It was actually really impressive, though. It was made in the late 1930s, is when
Yeah.
the tank was designed,
Yeah.
and it could reach speeds of about 40 miles per hour, which is
Yeah.
impressive as all heck, considering what kind of vehicle it is.
Yeah.
It was actually, since we're on the subject, I know a little bit about it. During the war,
Yeah.
it was actually used as a mobile commander's post, so that way the commander could move around the battlefields and kind of see what needs to happen while it's still maintaining speed and still having some protection from like machine gun fire and stuff.
Right.
So it was useful, and it was actually it was not very successful in the European theater.
Well, you
Because
had goddamn tigers and
I was
PT
about to
Ford
say
running
the
around.
German Tiger tank was just going to mop the floor with anything at that time.
Yeah.
But where it found most of its success was actually in the Pacific, in the Japanese islands. See, the Japanese islands, there was a lot of jungle, there was a lot of mud,
And there weren't that many tanks except for the
no,
Americans.
yeah, well, the M4 Sherman did not perform well in that environment. It was heavier. It got stuck a lot because of how ridiculous the terrain was. But the M3 Stewart was really lightweight and nimble.
Yeah.
And the tanks that they did have were like from World War One era stuff. It just they could not match even the M3 Stewart in terms of firepower and durability.
Yes.
So that was the area of the war in which the light tank really shined, was like guerrilla warfare pretty much.
Great.
So
But
yeah,
where was
that's
I?
enough of that.
You were asking me about challenging games, which is a bit of a loaded question.
Well, if you like playing as underdogs, do you like playing as underpowered characters, or are you one of those people, which are you the more common type of person that just wants to go for whatever will net them the easiest wins?
Well, that's a tricky dick question. Or
Yeah,
are we talking a game
no
where you?
shame in either choice.
Well, no, it's not even that. The issue I have is the progression. Whereas, do I start out weak and gradually become strong to the point where there's no longer a challenge? Or are you saying was it like a consistent level of challenge all throughout?
Well,
Or
like okay, for example, back to Crimson Skies.
yeah,
I had all these planes I could have chosen from. Uh, and I purposefully chose the dinkiest, weakest little thing on there because I just thought it was fun to play as that thing.
yeah.
And I'm like that with most games. Like, I hate to bring it back to Pokemon, but I hate using popular, strong Pokemon. I like to use the weaker stuff that everybody discounts, that nobody wants to use. Because but I like to win with those because it's just more fun to me. I feel like I'm not just following a blueprint. I'm doing my own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you like to follow the blueprint to victory, or do you just like to have fun?
Uh,
And I guess it would depend on which game you're playing.
yeah, it weighs
Like you
heavily
said,
on
you
the
were
game.
semi-pro in tanks.
Now that is a
And
good question.
you need to play to win in something like tanks.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think of
If
some
you want to
games to draw reference points from. I'm trying to think of a game that has no progression, like stat-wise, where you're based entirely on your skill of play. Which, like,
Yeah.
when you break it down to something like that, the only thing that comes to mind really would be like Mario, So like, I guess you're saying like running through like a Mario stage without gathering up any like power ups or something along those lines.
I guess.
That's
I
about
don't
the
know.
closest thing I can equate it
I
to.
didn't think it was a complicated question,
It,
but I guess it is.
well, like in my mind, I understand the simplicity of it, but whenever I try to like analyze it in depth, like my mind immediately adds like complicated parts to it, and it
Okay.
immediately ruins the question. So
Well, like,
I'm trying to cut the bias off my mind. I'm cutting the cheese, as it were. I'm trying to
yeah.
like streamline the question down to like its bare essential components.
Golly.
But yes, I did that in a way is actually for a game that you probably won't follow me on, which is Call of Duty 2.
Yeah.
Call of Duty 2?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's pre-modern warfare.
Yes.
All right, all right, all right. I'm with you.
You'll work me a bit on this, but I'll go ahead and talk about it. I would do runs where I would specifically find like the guns that I found least useful and try to make them the most useful. For
Yeah.
instance, the bolt action rifles that everyone just tossed aside for like an SMG. I would
Yes.
do bolt action only runs. Like
Yes.
if I started the game with a machine gun, I just toss that away
Yes.
and just use a knife or my like a sidearm until I found a bolt action rifle.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back deep with me too, man.
Oh really?
I remember being like 10 years old playing GoldenEye 007 on the N64, right?
Yeah.
And I loved the Klob. Do you remember the Klob?
Dude, the Klob, dude, that thing wasn't a challenge though. That thing just killed everything.
No. That was the weakest machine gun in the game.
Dude,
Are you thinking of the P90?
No, I'm not thinking P90.
Thinking of the P90.
I know
This
what the
Klob
Klob looks.
sucks.
It looks like the Scorpion. Is a more. If you don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know. Dude,
What?
the Klob sucked. My brothers all said it sucked. I knew it sucked, but I loved it, and I used it. I even used it in multiplayer. I didn't want to use anything else,
Dude.
because I don't know.
Okay, I get your point though. Yeah, you
felt for it.
The weaker one. And yeah,
I don't play as Dan Hibiki in Street Fighter though. I don't take it that far.
Dude, man, Dan Hibiki is no joke though. He has that rolling taunt, dude, and he taunts you just the right way, it's over. Dude, if you've seen the taunt combo, dude, he does that taunt combo and you're done.
I don't think it actually kills you though.
Dude, it'll wreck somebody, but they have to you have to do it just so. It's like the sleep technique for Jigglypuff. Like you have to be Johnny on the spot, as you say. Yeah. Or otherwise it's not gonna work.
I was actually, on a random aside, I was playing some Smash Brothers for Glory mode.
Oh, really? Now?
And I met a Jigglypuff online that was actually very good at landing the sleep attack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'd knock you out, man.
Dude,
it was so frustrating too because he knew at the exact moment that he needed to sing to put you to sleep. And then I was wiggling the control stick as hard as I could, dude, and there was nothing I could do. He just slowly walked up to me, did his little nap attack, and I was just gone. I was impressed. I couldn't even get mad about it. I was like, that guy really pulled it off. Props to you, man. Whoever you are, props to you.
Well, I'll bring the meta back to you. What is Jigglypuff shaped like?
Kirby.
There you go. It's the ball of death, dude. That hitbox is ridiculous. And
I disagree, Nelson.
Dude, I played against you extensively. I remember that hitbox.
What, because of Kirby?
Yeah, dude. It's the hitbox and the movement. Because with Kirby, as with Jigglypuff, you get that kind of floaty, kind of quick whip you can kind of do if you know what you're doing.
I
can
dig it. But at the same time,
oh, really?
You have to be making direct contact with like pixel perfect contact with Jigglypuff's body in order to be affected by the sleep technique.
Exactly. That's why I was comparing it to Dan Hibiki.
And she has a small character model, so even though the hitbox is the entire size of her character model, it's very small, and you've got to, unless you know exactly what the heck you're doing, you almost have to be lucky. Like luckier than Falcon Punch lucky, or Luigi's uppercut lucky in order to not pull it off.
Well, I believe the attack actually comes from the inside of Jigglypuff's hitbox. So if you just walk up to somebody and attempt it, it won't actually go off. You actually have to be step inside them and then hit it for a second. Yeah. That's the trick.
So it's not quite as deadly as you initially made it sound. It might have been on accident.
Well, it takes, like you said, a lot of skill. It's one of those things a novice just can't warp into.
Yeah.
But anyways, we were talking about tanks. Anyways, what I wanted to get on to tanks specifically What about those Nipponese tanks, Baggins? Have you looked at them?
Oh, I was actually briefly on the road to a Japanese heavy.
Oh, really?
Because I don't have any heavy tanks. Oh, for those who don't know, World of Tanks is basically like the vehicular version of Counter-Strike. You get one life per round. You got to be careful, man, because everybody is out there. Everybody's trying to stay alive. Everybody's trying to kill you. Um, and you make one mistake, you're done.
Indeed.
So you just got to be careful. There's very, very high consequence for risky play.
Yes.
Um, anyways, I was going up the Japanese tree because I don't have any heavy tanks really, and I want something that can actually survive because I've always just played light tanks
You
and
picked
things
a
like that.
terrible tree, though, dude. The
Well, I
Japanese
know
tanks are
that's
so
what I was getting at
bad.
because I thought about it, I'm like, I'll just try the Japanese. I'll get to the heavy tank. I'll be happy. But by the time I reached tier 4, I was like, well, maybe I ought to research what these are like because I'm not impressed so far.
Yeah.
And turns out they are the worst combination of large and paper thin armor, and I don't understand why anyone would want to play them. So I gave up on it and I went to Chinese instead.
You make the right choices.
Well, actually, no, I made even the more paper cutter or cookie cutter choice. I'm doing Russians. I'm working my way towards the KV and seeing what happens from there.
Oh, really? Now you're going towards the bias 7.
The Russian bias.
Ho 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 ho.
For those who don't know, I hate to keep saying that, but Wargaming is a Russian gaming development company, and World of Tanks uses historically accurate tank models and have a lot of the same stats that the real tanks did, and blah blah blah. They really do their homework, is what I'm trying to say, which is great. It really translates into their work. That you can tell they put there's a lot of heart in it.
I will put a caveat though. They do balance for gameplay, and
Oh yeah, they do. Because otherwise, I mean, you'd have an unbalanced mess. You do have to make your game fun. So you're right. But they do their homework, and there's a lot of love put into it. Um, but they are a Russian company, and I swear to God, they give hidden advantages to Russian tanks. I swear they do.
Well, they have some of the best pike noses of any. Like almost all their mediums, all their heavies come with that coveted pike or next to be pike, which is the front edge point of a nose for the tank. And for those not inclined to learn about the physics of tanks, basically you want your armor as slanted as much as you can and as thick as you can get it in that regard. So a slanted armor that is, say, 2 inches thick, slanted at a 45-degree angle, is effectively
really like
4
3
inches
inches or 4, yeah.
Depending on how far it's slanted, depending on the degree of...
And what angle you hit it at, too.
Yes. So, in many cases, you have Russian tanks with a high degree of inclination to bounce, coupled with fairly, not the best armor in the game, but what many would consider decent armor.
Very good armor.
Yes.
Very passable armor with high slope and respectable
What this translates
guns.
to, as Mr. Baggins has found out, is a high degree of bounceability.
Yeah, you could fire. You could waste all your shells at the front of a Russian tank and never kill it.
Yes.
And
now,
okay.
shall you go ahead?
I kind of forgot what I was gonna say there.
No, I was just trying to pull up some Japanese tanks, trying to kind of showcase the wortiness of these vehicles. These are actual. They never made production, but they were on the back of somebody's napkin. Like, this would be a good idea, but as you can tell, like that good idea never came to fruition, thankfully.
Superior Japanese engineering.
Folded steel.
Most powerful tank desu.
Yes. Oh jeez.
I'm being racist.
World of Tanks, Japanese tanks. What's a good example of? It's a very blocky tank. It's a very kind of it's blocky. It's
too many right angles.
It's like if someone who didn't know how to design tanks designed a tank. It's the best way I can say it. And right now I'm just hunting down an image.
Oh man.
Go tell us your impressions of the Japanese tanks you did manage to play. What was your
not fast enough, not really everything about them was bad except they had decent guns.
Decent guns.
Oh. That was the combination of being a big target, not very quick at all. So you're slow, you have paper thin armor, and nobody's gonna miss you. So every shot that every tank that breathes on you is going to damage you. and you can't do anything to get out of the way. It's just pathetic. I mean,
Yes.
basically the tank has to be used as like a secondary support tank. So it's like, which really any tank could be used as a support tank. So what's the point of this tank?
Right. Well,
Yeah,
there is one. There's a buy though, which I've not mentioned, and you may have noticed. There is a Japanese Tiger tank. Were you aware of that?
no, I was not aware of that.
It's a premium tank, of course. You gotta spend some of that money, Baggins.
Probably like $50.
Yes, it's a tier 6 Tiger, so it's not as beefed up as the
What?
tier 7. Let's see. It boasts a wonderful 8.8 centimeter KWK for this is the 88 millimeter.
Hmm.
Uh, German gun does 132 pin, 220 damage, which is nothing to sneeze at for tier 6.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's to sound like the gun's comparable to the what's the word? The Hellcat gun.
yeah, they're right. It's not a bad gun by any means. And like I said, armor wise, you're not hurting in that category either. It's not as good as the tier 7 variant,
Of
the
course.
proper Tiger, but the Japanese, as they called heavy tank number 6. That's what the designation was.
Omuba. 60 desu. Oh,
Yes.
sorry, I'm being autistic.
Yes. The hull armor 100 millimeters in the front, and turret armor also 100 millimeters, 80 on the sides and the rear. So, like I said, the frontal armor is not that good. If you angled it, you could do maybe a good chance of bouncing.
Yeah.
Turret, you do have the mantlet, which gives you a bit of coverage, but still, anything with a decent gun should be able to poke through that as well, I think.
Hmm.
But that's just a compare. That's what the Japanese should have. What they do have. What they do have, the comparable tier. Alright, that's tier 6. Let me do the OI. So here's the OI tank, and I'm not actually showing this on the screen. I should be showing it, but I'll go ahead and pop that on here. See if we can grab it real quick. Pop it on. Properties. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. There we go. And we'll do position fit to screen. The OI. This is a tier 6. This is the one above that I'm currently playing. I'm at the tier 5 myself right now. Development of a super heavy tank was started.
Wait.
Go ahead.
For what it's worth, I cannot actually see anything on the stream.
It's okay. Like I said, you can't see anything?
No, all I see is the logo for Superior Stream.
Oh, like I said, you're probably behind a bit, so don't worry about it. Development of the super heavy tank was started after the Battle of Gol, however you want to pronounce that, in 1939. So before the war, I think it really got it was going in full swing. So
I like how it has 3 guns on it.
Yes.
That's kind of amazing.
The vehicle was designed as a maneuverable fire unit. That was a designation. We need to do a maneuverable firing unit. Its hull alone weighed 100 tons. 100 tons of let's get stuck in the mud. 100 tons. Yes.
You're misreading that.
That's we'll read the www.
M1 the main heavy tanks of today don't weigh 100 tons.
Yes. Like I said, go to the World of Tanks wiki.
Hold on.
The OI Japanese tier 6 heavy tank. 100.
That is a typo.
That is not a typo. That is the description taken from the in-game description. 100 tons. Only one prototype was built without a turret and made of construction steel. Trials were discontinued due to the unreliable engine. Well, no shit.
How do you think anything weigh 100 tons is going to be unreliable?
They had like a little Mitsubishi like Spitfire engine trying to move 100 tons of steel, dude. It was like, nope. Nope.
That is a typo. I'm sorry. No, cruise ships weigh 100 tons.
No, exactly. That's how ridiculous these things are, dude.
You cannot fit that much steel into a tank-sized object. Dude,
this
sorry.
This thing is huge, dude. Have you seen this?
How big is it?
All right, I'll pull up a reference chart.
Pull that reference chart up.
It's bigger than a Moss.
I disbelieve you.
OI. Do you know how big the Moss is? Here, I'll pull up.
How heavy was the Tiger? How many tons was the Tiger?
It was pretty heavy. It wasn't 100 tons, but it was.
Not even close. I bet it was like. Okay, maybe cruise ships don't weigh 100 tons. Now I'm getting all confused.
Dude, that relativity. It's okay, Baggins. Let's. For comparison, though, yeah, for the Tiger, let's look at that. Tiger. As soon as it pulls up here. Okay, yeah, Tiger 1 weighed in at an astonishing. Let's see, where does it say? It may not say it in the description here. Let's see. Because in that
Weight.
other...
Oh, nothing. Wow, it really did weigh 100 tons, didn't it?
Yes.
What am I thinking a cruise ship will weigh 100 tons for?
I was gonna say like Baggins. I'm not being hyperbolic. It does weigh. It weighs 100 tons.
I think maybe I was thinking 6,000 tons. I don't know. My brain just got really turned up with its units of measurement there. I apologize.
It's okay. Your mental faculties are diminished after such arduous work. I understand.
I've been super busy at work. That's my excuse.
Yes. Let's see. But yeah, trials were discontinued due to the unreliable engine. At the end of 1944, the prototype was scrapped. Oh, I imagine so, with a goddamn bomb.
Well, because I mean, okay, you got all right. The German Tiger tank weighed 60 tons.
Yeah.
All right.
So this
and that was with German engineering. I mean, their engines are no joke. Blah blah blah. They had a lot of tricks up their sleeves to get the most bang for their buck out of a heavy tank.
Right.
So you got the Japanese. They probably barely designed any tanks at all.
Remember, this is tier 6. This is tier 6, of course.
Going for the 100-ton giant. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The OI, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's a tier 6 version.
That's the one that actually has the thick armor.
Yeah. Well, they
now,
all
like it.
Oh, I'd say, well, the side armor on a lot of them is laughable. Let's go ahead and look here. Let's see. So for the Oho, which is the tier 8 variant, Oho, is, let's see, turret, hull armor, 200 in the front, so nothing to sneeze at. 105 on the side and 150 on the rear. So you're better off like rear facing your enemy than going frontal carnage or from side carnage anyway. It has fairly decent sloped armor. Let's see, but let's look at the super duper heavy, the super duper no joke, the Type 5 heavy tank. Let's see. The Type 5, also known as the Type 2605, was one of the variants of the OI super tank, or super heavy tank, developed during World War II. The vehicle was planned to be used for breaking through fortified enemy lines and coastal defenses. So yeah, that would have never had a chance. But where's the weight on it?
Never had a chance.
Dude, they never got past the oh-ho. Oh, yeah. But let's see, historical information. Let's see, what's weight? If I can find that. Weight limit, 150 to 160 tons.
I don't know how much more tanks I can talk about, Nelson.
I know. I'll close out of this. So that's what happens when you start talking about tanks, dude. You start looking at numbers. You start thinking about those Japanese super heavy tanks.
Super heavy, 100-ton
tanks.
Unreliable engine.
Yes.
It's kind of amazing.
All right. Let's see. What time? How long have we been going on for?
About almost an hour and a half.
Yeah. Let's see. I got a number of different things we can hit on.
Hour and 13 minutes.
I was gonna like rag on Nintendo to get your goose. Let's see.
Oh, the censorship.
There's censorship issues, and there's also the Nintendo's mobile game division department. Is not exactly taking off the ground with flying purpose. So,
their launch title was weird.
Yeah, I'll let you pick your poison. Do you want to hit the Nintendo censorship or Nintendo's Mitomo's not making bacon?
Well, to be honest with you, Nelson, I wouldn't mind talking about your physical media topic.
Physical media topic.
Yeah, I know it's not what you really want about, but the topic interests me.
Where is it down here? Proprietary. Was it the proprietary? The maybe topic section?
No, the GameStop's future section.
Oh, GameStop future. All right.
Physical media on the way out.
Let me get it.
Well, okay. On my PC, I like having my digital copies.
Yeah.
It's just convenient. I can download them, blah, blah, blah. But what about with consoles?
What about with consoles?
I like having discs. Why do I like having discs, you may ask? Because he's just kind of silent there for a minute. I was kind of hoping
go ahead.
Respond. Several reasons. For one, I don't have to worry about, with discs, I don't have to worry about taking up hard drive space.
Right.
I don't have to download anything. I just have it whenever I want to pop it in. Whereas that is a problem that I have not gotten to that point yet with my computer, but eventually I will, is that I'll have to start uninstalling my games, and if I want to play something a couple months later, I'll have to go through the whole 2 hour download again, and that's annoying. Also, with a physical disc, I can share with my friends.
Well,
Um,
that
I can let dude borrow it if he wants to. I like letting
if
people
I may
borrow things.
interject,
Hmm.
I don't know, is downloading a game from like start to finish really that big of an issue in today's day? Like if
I
you
think so.
assume like you've not played it in a long time, so you can argue that you were not significantly interested in the game. Like
Okay.
how much interest would merit you to have the game instantly in a second when you want to play it?
Well, pretty dang high, I
Okay,
think. Because think about it,
and
what if
how?
the mood
So
the
the
mood
next
just suddenly strikes that I want to play this game, and it's like, oh well, I don't feel like waiting 2 hours. And
my
by then the
question
mood
is
will
how
pass.
slow is your internet?
Well, I mean, games are pretty big, dude.
They are pretty big, but our
You
internet's
can't
getting
download
faster.
a 30 gigabyte file in 30 minutes.
Uh, I've like I don't know, maybe because I have my 50 megabytes down, or
Dot. What kind of internet do you have? Let's ask you.
dude, it's fairly affordable.
Well,
It's but in either case, like I said, for me,
have to
I
download it.
can't think of a game that was so big unless it was like Phantasy Star Online 2 that's like 30 gigs. I'm not going back to that ship. Uh,
I
maybe
want to try
maybe
it.
Wolfenstein New Order. That's also I think 20 gigs, but I'm not gonna play that game again either. So,
Yeah,
unless there's like isolated cases where someone just makes a really
yeah,
fat game, I
yeah.
can't really rationalize how physical media would be better than the digital media. But of
Well,
course,
okay.
I've
Well, what about
interjected
this then?
too
If for
much.
those of us that have a social life,
Oh,
else,
really? What?
um,
What?
if I want to go to a friend's house, and we both have the same system, um, I could just bring my game over,
Mm-hmm.
and play it on his thing, and we could play together.
Oh,
Instead
really?
of, well, you got to download it too, and blah blah blah,
Well,
DRM derp derp derp.
well,
So
point counterpoint to you then, Mr. Baggins.
okay,
Are you familiar with Steam streaming?
not really.
Basically, it lets you play your games from your computer on any base, on any computer. I've never had a chance to play it. I want to test it out just to see how it works. But essentially, I imagine you could run Crisis on a little laptop,
Hmm.
assuming you had a decent enough internet connection.
Okay.
I believe
Well,
that's
here's the thing though. You've got to download it onto the other computer. Then
no,
you've got to
no.
what?
You don't have to download it. You're streaming it from your computer, so the game's already
Do
downloaded
you?
on your computer. You're playing
Oh,
it.
kind of like how the Vita can stream from the PS4.
Uh, I'm not like per like very
Yeah, dude, that's like some serious science going down. The Vita can do that.
yeah, that's I'm sure that is some science right there. But I'm just telling you what I know for sure. I've not had any experience. Do you have any experience at all with the Vita?
No, but I have a coworker who was telling me all about it.
I would reckon he's not just tooting his own horn. But suffice it to say
Dude, this guy knows what he's talking about.
that's what I'm agreeing with him. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
oh, oh. I
Uh,
misunderstood.
all more to my point that streaming games. I used to think that was hot like pie in the sky fantasy stuff,
Hmm.
and we're gradually slipping into that like sci-fi kind of gray area of I
Well,
guess maybe that is possible.
if there's one, if even if it's just one, if there's one aspect, one facet of human technology
Yeah,
that continues to advance, it's computers.
yeah.
Uh, Automotive is great, incredibly depressing. We could be so far ahead of where we are now, but oil companies and all that refuse to let it happen. Um, but
Oh, that tinfoil hat.
computer technology, uh, it's always going in leaps and bounds. So yeah, I mean, I don't ever consider anything pie in the sky anymore. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
I have an idea for something. I'm like, that's going to exist one day.
yeah.
I don't know when, but it's
Well,
going to happen. I might even see it in my own lifetime.
I have a two-pronged attack. It's not
That's
just
exciting.
streaming. It's not just streaming I'm excited about. You can also,
Okay.
are you familiar? You can share games with your friends on Steam. They can download them ahead of time, and you could play.
Yeah.
I believe you can play your own games with them. I may need to check my source on that. But at the very least, I know you can
Well,
let your friend borrow a game to see if they want to play it first.
okay. If they start doing things like that and it works well, then
Yeah.
okay, sure, it's a fine alternative to having a physical disc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you know,
So you agree
streaming.
with me then?
Well, I mean, I don't. I still think physical has its place. There's always the people. There, a lot of people like to collect things.
Okay. Well,
You know.
I'll
Uh,
concede one thing, and this is basically the only thing I will concede unto you with
mm,
physical media, and
mm.
that is collector's editions, DVDs, with the director commentary. They don't. There's no real way to get that kind of content, as far as I know, easily.
And
Netflix
let me tell you,
yeah, go ahead.
go. Well, I don't mean to cut you up, but let me tell you something else real quick. Yeah. Is that especially we're talking about DVDs and stuff?
Yeah.
A Blu-ray disc is gonna look better than HD streaming any day of the week.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, absolutely. There's no comparison. It just buy a movie off Amazon Prime, stream that crap, and then watch the same movie on a dedicated disc with that file on it. Tell me you can't tell a difference. If you tell me that, you're lying.
Well, and I would have. It's one of those things where I would want to see. The proof would be in the pudding at that point. Well, but I would argue that if you can download a higher quality file from the internet, then that would be technically better. But like I said, that's something where
if you actually download the file, then you've got to uninstall it once your hard drive starts to fill up, or else, you buy an external hard drive or something. It just starts to become a hassle. That's the thing, Nelson. Yeah, physical media takes up space.
Well, we're just talking about streaming, though. We're just talking about streaming.
Okay, well then, if you stream it, you don't download the file. It's getting streamed to you, so you don't have to save anything.
What's the word? For when it's buffering. So you're not receiving the entirety of the file. You're only receiving little bits of it at a time. Right. But it's still a large file. And
it's a large file, yeah.
By that regard, like I said, with our internet speeds,
but you don't have to keep it. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Well, can the increase in internet speeds keep up with the increasing demand for bandwidth? That is another topic altogether.
You should speak to your internet provider about that. I know Comcast is actively working to screw anyone and everyone who happens to want to connect to the internet.
Well, all I'm saying is that I recently bought Inside Out on Amazon Prime. Great movie, by the way. Oh, really? That Pixar film. You know which one I'm talking about?
I'm familiar with it. Yes.
Okay, I had never seen it, but I heard it was amazing. My wife said it was great, and I wanted to see it. So I'm like, let's just buy it. We know it'll be good. And we were streaming it, on the internet from Amazon Prime, and it was good. But there were times when the quality noticeably dipped for about 30 seconds at a time.
And I didn't care. You were streaming this live, right?
Yeah, and I didn't care. I'm not an HD file or HDO file or whatever you want to call it. I'm not obsessed with quality. As long as I can see what's happening, I'm fine. But just an argument for physical media is that you won't get that. And and if you're not streaming, if you're actually downloading your files, then that's more of a hassle than just popping a disc and putting it back in his box. It is significantly more of a hassle, and I don't even think even you could say that's not true. And it's cool to have stuff. I mean, it's like to look at your collection and be like, yes, this is a thing,
Well, like I said, for me, it's all of the utility of, like I said, what does the formats offer me versus the other format? Like I said, for the one instance that I conceded to you, like I said, DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever however you want to dissect that media, yeah. I will concede in terms of getting you like very specific content that is hard to come by, like even Yar Pirates. It's hard to come across, like the director's commentary, like special edition director's cut version of things, unless you like really fucking parse through the dark edges of the internet. And that's that's my rationalization for purchasing DVD commentaries and stuff.
I wanted to have my coworker Carlton come on with us tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Carlton?
Yeah. And
West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds where I spent most of my days. That kind of Carlton?
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. I'll tell you what. He might even listen to this because I'll tell him about it. But I mean, I was hanging out with Carlton at work, and I wanted to make the joke so bad. I never did because I thought to myself, he's probably heard it a million effing times by now. Carlton is probably so sick of people referencing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that I didn't even bother. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be that guy. So way to be the smaller person there.
Is he a brother from another mother?
You just immediately jumped into the theme song. You didn't even take time to process what I was telling you. You're just like, Carlton, oh
yes,
gotta do it.
I'm saying, is he a brother from another mother? Is he a bit of a chocolate complexion?
Why does that matter? Why does that matter?
I was just curious. It makes it all the more funny.
He is.
But, does he actually look like Carlton?
No, he's
Oh
actually
man, that would
like
be perfect.
he's almost 7 feet tall, and he's really big. He
Dang
could be
it.
a defensive lineman if he wanted to be.
Oh yeah, better be careful then.
But no, he's a really cool guy. He's a nice guy. But no, I kind of wanted to have him on here tonight because me and him were having a conversation earlier. He would argue it a lot better than I would because he feels very passionately about it, about physical media disappearing. We were having a conversation about that earlier today, and he said all these things, and I was trying to remember the things he was saying, but I can't.
I'm sure he'll leave a comment if you see him in this video. Like go to the last like hour of this thing and listen.
It's like I really wish he was here right now because he would have a lot to say.
Oh. He would give me a proper rebuttal.
I think so.
Right.
But then let's talk about Christian. We know him well.
Christian name dropping all these guys. As a courtesy, I'll re-upload this with a bit of censorship. With a few things cut out.
I do apologize.
He lives here. He goes to this GameStop.
Well, he used to work at GameStop.
Jeez. Oh well. Too late.
Whatever. It's not like what was somebody gonna steal his credit card info because I gave his name.
I know. It's just a courtesy. It's not the.
Oh, he doesn't mind.
Okay, I'm not even saying anything. I'm just trying to be courteous.
Well, Christian thanks you.
Meanwhile, all his personal information is getting displayed on the internet.
Well,
guys, what happened?
My boy Christian works at GameStop, right?
Yes.
I mean, he's about to not though because he's got something better going on. Anyways.
Yes.
He still works there occasionally, and he is one of those guys where he gets the steel box edition, he gets the statues, he gets the belt buckles, blah blah blah, any kind of swag that GameStop can throw your way. Right. He is on it like white on rice. He loves that crap. Any physical media you could throw at him, he wants it. And it's like there's I disagree with that philosophy. That doesn't do anything for me, but I'm glad it makes him happy. And there's a lot of people out there like that.
Right.
So I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. There's money to be made off of it.
Well, like I said, I see it as more like a bubble. Like how many of those dude bros do you need to support the the economy of mainstream gaming? How many copies of Call of Duty do they have to sell in order to make it profitable to their investors? That's my question.
Not many, because it's not like they have to spend much time developing a sequel to Call of Duty.
Okay, well, like I said, that's tongue in cheek.
That's a subject for another day.
Right, but like I said, tongue in cheek, yeah, Call of Duty. But you know what I mean. Like the mainstream, like the games that are supposed to make like so many $1 million, and then they like come up like less than half of that. Not because the game's not good. Not because it's not worth the money, because there's just not enough people to buy the game. There's not enough of a demographic.
That's the thing. They keep. It's like, what do they think? They keep making these games bigger and bigger and bigger to where the only way they could possibly stay afloat is by selling more and more and more. But where are they getting the customers from?
Right. I'm not even against Tomb Raider or anything about Tomb Raider. We have pro women's rights. Yeah, do whatever you need to do to get noticed. I'm not going to buy Tomb Raider. It's not a game that tickles my pickle.
I might get it. I kind of feel the same way about the new Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, you and me as well. Like I said,
it looks great.
I'm big on Metal Gear, but I can't rationalize a purchase, and
I just want games that are just simple fun. I think I'm just jaded from all the blockbuster video games. I don't care about that anymore. I just want gameplay. This is all I want. I just want to get excited by getting into a match with somebody or facing a difficult enemy or exploring in a complex dungeon. I don't care that much anymore about story or how great the cinematography on your cutscenes are. That does absolutely nothing for me. Okay. That is not what games are about. And they're trying to turn games into movies, and it just pisses me off.
Okay, I'll give you one more topic before we crash for the
night. All right. Well, I probably need to go kind of soonish.
Okay, that's good because, like I said, this should be the last one for the night. Are you familiar with Deus Ex: Mankind Divided?
Well, our buddy Gubner would be more than one to talk to about this because I've never played a Deus Ex game before.
Okay, well you don't even need to play it. I'll just give you the narrative and you tell me how shitty this is.
Okay.
Basically, they offered a DLC scheme as
DLC, comrade.
DLC.
My name is Niedzielska Dielski.
Yes. Their DLC scheme is, and I'm not using hyperbole. This is not a 100-ton Japanese tank. This is as far as the truth can go.
Okay.
They want people to pre-order the game to unlock tiers of DLC to compete against each other.
What?
All right, I'll say it again. They wanted you to pre-order the game to unlock tiers of DLC, two separate tiers of DLC. One would get unlocked, one would not, and have them compete against each other. Competitive pre-ordering for DLC.
That's disgusting.
Dude, how profit driven? How insane! Here, I'll read you this brief little. There's not too much here. For courtesy of Mr. By Timur Hussein. Square Enix has scrapped the Deus Ex Mankind Divided augmented, as they called it, pre-order program, admitting that the policy triggered a resounding amount of negative feedback. Oh, fucking really? The publisher said it initially wanted to give the customers more choice with the scheme, which offered multiple tiers of game rewards depending on how many people pre-ordered the game.
What? That's not your choice. Your choice is you're hanging in the balance of how many other people are on board with you.
Precisely. For a certain number of global pre-orders, the publisher would give away DLC ranging from in-game costumes to soundtracks to extra missions. At the highest tier, the publisher would have dispatched the pre-order copies some 4 days ahead of its general release date. That was the pie in the sky that you were going for.
Wow. Do you remember back in the day?
Yes.
You remember back in the day when if a game company wanted to make a game, like for the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis or the PlayStation 1, something like that, right?
Yeah.
If they wanted to make a game, they had to make sure that that game was as good as it could be, that game was finished. They were done with it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they released it, that's how the game would be forever and ever, amen. So you better make it right, guys.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be. And now it's like, oh, well, we might finish the game if you pre-order 1 million copies. Otherwise, you'll get an unfinished product because we don't really, we just want your money.
That's what it sounds like.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. DLC is like the internet. DLC is like the internet. It is something with beautiful, beautiful potential. What it could be is amazing, and what we actually do with it is disgusting.
Yeah.
Because human beings, at a very fundamental level, are nasty, horrible little things.
Oh, you think we're not compassionate, loving creatures?
Oh, dude, I think human. I mean, me and Lena were talking about this earlier today, but I think humanity is in dire need of a mass extinction event that leaves about 1% of the population left over, so that we can try again. Because we're so stupid.
Next show we'll talk about that. Next show we'll go on that, because there's actually something I want to talk to you about that, and that's about Earth as a shooting in the shooting gallery.
Right.
I listened to a podcast. Are you familiar with what's his name? I'll pull him up here. Joe Rogan.
I know the name.
Weather. He does a podcast. Anyways, he had a guest on by the name of Graham. I'll pull up here real quick. Graham something or another. Anyways, this guy Graham Hancock with a name like Hancock, you can't go wrong. So Mr. Graham Hancock, he wrote Magic. What the fuck did he write? Graham Hancock. He wrote something. Hancock book.
943.
Fingerprints of the Gods, and a couple other books. Yeah, Message of the Sphinx, and a couple other things. But anyways, like he likes studying about history, and like the past and everything. And like he basically worked together with his other geologists, and they basically kind of put together a timeline explaining that there were actually advanced civilizations on Earth before at some point, but they got wiped out by meteors. And basically his whole premise was these extinction events aren't that far apart as we maybe give them credit for. Like maybe every 5 to 10 years we roll the dice on it. You're familiar with that recent little fireball over Russia, right?
Oh yeah, one of the dash cams.
Okay, that was kind of cool, you know. It gives us a reminder that there's rocks in the sky. That was a relatively small one, you know.
Oh yeah.
And what that illustrated for people is that there are rocks flying around, and they every so often they will actually penetrate our atmosphere.
Yeah.
And in some cases, if you go far back, like in 1908, there was that one that exploded way out in the Siberian wasteland. It basically
Yeah.
flattened like 3 or 4 miles of trees, just flat like matchsticks.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Actually, I think it was like a 100-mile radius, dude.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous, and that just
It was.
happened, and just because it wasn't in a populated
That was
area,
like back in the. That was like back in the maybe the early 1900s. Like
yeah, it was
it
very early
was.
1900s,
Yeah.
and like I said, had that happened over Britain or over, say, like in
Oh,
Japan,
dude, an entire civilization would be wiped out.
yeah, it would
It
have
just
just,
so happened to hit this isolated spot in the vastness of the
yes.
Siberian wilderness where there was literally not a soul to witness it.
So how many of these? How many of these do we miss that we can't see? How many of these do we miss that actually enter our atmosphere and just kind of go
Well,
into some obscure place on Earth where we don't
these
even
days,
see?
probably not that much because of stuff like Google Earth and all that jazz. We'd be on it like white on rice. The second time I've used that phrase.
You
I
would think,
apologize.
but that requires a camera, watching every like part of the sky.
That,
Is
that
there?
that satellite imagery, even if we didn't see it happen, seismographs would pick it up. Satellite imagery would see the aftermath. I mean, we would know it happened.
Possibly.
I think we would know it happened fast.
I would argue that near Earth collisions and stuff that kind of burns up in our atmosphere, we maybe get those a little more often than we're comfortable to admit. Maybe the
Yeah.
government doesn't want us to know. That's some of my tinfoil right there.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though.
One.
I apologize to people that think the Earth is only 7,000 years old. But the last extinction-inducing asteroid to hit the Earth was what, about 65 million years ago?
That's the argument that Graham suggests is maybe not entirely true. Like I said, if you want to read his books, you can. I thought he made a pretty compelling argument on the show.
Oh,
But like I said, definitely check it out. I'll post a little link here. It's Joe Rogan podcast with Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson. Both those guys,
all right.
pretty cool dudes, and you can listen to them and make up your mind for
Oh.
yourself.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. But shoot, what were we talking about before I started talking about another topic?
Deus Ex, DLC, and all that jazz.
Yes. And like I said, I'm not even that mad at there being DLC in an incomplete game. I'm more mad at the way they put that together. In that you need to pre-order.
It's just blatant. It's like
pre-order the game.
cartoonishly evil. It's like Snidely Whiplash, just blatantly twirling his mustache right out in the open, like with a megaphone, advertising his wares. Just like.
And they made you compete against other people for pre-orders to go up a certain path of unlocks. I was like, wow, is this really happening?
That's disgusting.
Because
then you got the people that pre-ordered it and then didn't get what they paid for.
Exactly. That's
if they lost the bet, or if they lost the contest, or whatever stupid thing they won.
But thankfully, thank goodness, that whole menagerie of a mess got wiped out, not by a comet, but just by a general consensus of consumers saying "fuck off."
That is dumb.
Yes, but
they'll keep trying it until they get it.
I guess that's about all the points I wanted to hit on for tonight. I guess we missed quite a few things.
Yeah, we had a lot of things we wanted to talk about, but dang it, dude, it takes a long time to go through the topic.
You get me off on these little side roads, and I swear.
That's the beauty of a conversation, man.
Well, I'm not
saying
that's
winding river.
I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that's what kept on happening. Oh jeez, but I guess what's his name again? Carlson. Get Carlson on the phone and get him in here. We'll refer to him as the Fresh Prince since he's new to the show.
You don't even try it. It's like that joke is too easy. I've never made that joke,
dude.
I've known him for 6 months, and I've never made that joke,
dude. He will be the Fresh Prince. He'll be new on the show.
No, dude, I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Dude, I'll do it. I'll say it.
He will. I bet you he will just log off right then and there.
Well, if he wants to be a sourpuss, that's his prerogative.
Well, you're better than that, Nelson. You got a better sense of humor than that.
Come on.
It's too easy.
That joke writes itself.
It's taking candy from a baby, dude. You got to have higher comedic standards than that.
If you feel so inclined, I'll tell you what. You give this show to him.
I'm the one that's got to work with him the next day.
Dude, oh.
God, I'm so bad at name dropping. I just
yeah, that's why I'm gonna take this one down. Shut it down. I'm gonna shut it down.
Pipe it down. If I want to listen to this at work tomorrow, will it be done by then?
Man, I gotta censor Daniel. I gotta censor Christian. I gotta censor myself that you gave out me.
Censor that last one. Just censor that last one.
Dude, screw you. No, this is my show. We're shutting her down. Shut her down. Oy vey.
Spare no expense, sir.
What are we even on? Oh yeah, outro music.
We're getting
do you have anything to do before we start the buffer music?
Nah, I'm good, man. I gotta take care of some junk before bed.
Well, all right. Let me get this playing here. Pump up the volume.
Yep. Good talking to you. Good talk.
Thanks for hanging with me, Baggins. I'll get the music blasting again in a second. I just want to say thanks for hanging out. Sorry that you can't. You're compulsively blast people's names over the internet.
I should never be a spy.
It's like, oh yes, he's under the bed. I mean, no. Dang it, But, have a nice night, folks. Thanks for watching, listening, or whatever you do. Remember, Jeffrey is reliably unreliable.